From CBS News headquarters in New York, this is the CBS Evening News with Walter Cronkite. And in Washington, Eric Severide, Fred Graham, Neil Strasser, Marvin Kalb, Robert Pierpoint with the presidential party in Florida, Sharon Lovejoy in New York, Jed Duval in Atlanta, Bill Plant in Chicago, Terry Drinkwater in Los Angeles, Tom Fenton in Egypt, and Charles Kuralt on the road tonight in Baker, California.
Good evening. A White House assistant testified today that President Nixon told him 5 weeks ago that 2 Watergate tapes were missing. But the Key Biscayne White House says the president had dictated his recollection of the conversation involved in one of those missing tapes and may turn that memorandum over to the court. Fred Graham in Washington and Robert Pierpoint in Florida have those stories.
Presidential Assistant Stephen Bull left for the courthouse this morning, confident that his testimony would clear the matter up.
I think I'd like to wait until I'm in the court today and give that explanation, because there is an explanation and there's a very logical reason.
Inside, however, it was prosecutor Richard Benvenisti who proposed an ingenious way to settle the controversy. Bull had testified that President Nixon spent about 12 hours on the 4th of June listening to the tapes and sometimes discussing them with Bull in an office that was itself bugged. Benvenisti demanded that tape of the president listening, saying a tape of a tape could show if the 2 missing conversations were missing then. White House lawyer Fred Bazard jumped to his feet, saying, "I object." Judge John Sirica replied, it wouldn't hurt to take it out and play it and see what's on it. But when Bazard insisted that he had no authority to turn over more tapes, Sirica said he could not demand that tape now. Bull's testimony continued, but instead of clearing matters up, a series of conflicts developed. First, he testified that President Nixon told him that the crucial conversation of April 15th had not been recorded. Later, he said he discovered this and told the president. By either version, it happened September 29th, a month before the court was informed the tapes did not exist. Under cross-examination by Benvenisti, Bull conceded that he let former presidential aide H.R. Haldeman take home 9 tapes, apparently including the reel for April 15, and he didn't check to see if Haldeman returned them all or if they were in their original condition. Bull also admitted that he told Senate investigators that a tape he loaned last June to Attorney Bazart was probably the controversial April 15 reel, but he said now he can't recall which reel was involved. Bazart would not comment on any of this after he left the courtroom, and Bull would also not elaborate. He said the judge had ordered him not to discuss his testimony. Bull will return to the stand on Tuesday, with Haldeman subpoenaed to testify on Thursday. So it's clear that it will take most of next week to get to the bottom of this, if ever. Fred Graham, CBS News at the federal courthouse in Washington.
It now turns out that there is a dictaphone machine tape about that disputed conversation between President Nixon and John Dean. But it's a tape dictated by the president himself giving his version of their talk. Today, a spokesman for the president promised the White House will turn over that tape or information from it if Judge Sirica so orders. Acting White House Press Secretary Gerald Warren declined to say in just what form the information would be made available to the court. It could be the tape itself, it could be a written transcript of the tape, or it could be just a White House memorandum based on Mr. Nixon's dictation. One puzzlement: spokesman Warren will not say when the president dictated his recollections. It might have been that same day, or it might have been months later. Despite this confusion, Warren insisted today that President Nixon wants to make the entire Watergate matter clear to the American people as soon as possible. Warren also declared emphatically, in answer to a question, that the president has no intention of resigning. Robert Pierpoint, CBS News, with the presidential party in Florida.
They used to make good products here. No more.